Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 7. Chapter 36-41. Alpha Graham's POV. What is going on? This night has turned out to be a nightmare. I should never have come. Why did Reagan insist on us coming tonight? Raven was getting the life that she always dreamed of, and honestly, I didn't want to see her happy. The whole thing was just over the top. All their comments Alpha Cole and Luna Olivia were saying about how strong she was, and how far she has come in such a short time. All of that was complete crap. She is the same girl that 3 weeks ago managed to escape from Silver Blade before we could silence her. She has been an abomination to me her whole life. A reminder each day that my mate, my other half, had never truly belonged to me. That I saw her, wanted her, and took her away from her mate. Us being here at his pack is a threat to my marriage. The second she realizes that Cole has always been richer than me, she is going to make my life a living hell. That was another reason not to come here. This wasn't even his pack house. This was just a giant building that they built to house meetings, training, ceremonies, and things like this party. It is nowhere near his pack house. He wanted you near his border, so you can't go around and see what they are doing here, or get anywhere near the pack house. It was brilliant, and if I were willing to build something like this, I would have done the same thing. It is near the training area and the unmated warrior's house. So if something came up, they could have warriors here, and very quickly. Case in point to my position right now, and the reason why I am kneeling on the floor, handcuffed, and unable to protect myself. This was completely unacceptable. Cole can't just do whatever he wants to, and he is going to answer for this humiliation that he is giving me. Uncuff me now, Cole. I swear to you that I will be going to the council with this blatant disregard for my rights. Brandon is healing and won't have a mark on him. I just got overexcited and lost control of my temper. I misunderstood that they were mates and thought that she was trying to seduce Justin again, as he is mated to her sister. I am sorry that I lost control. It happens with us alphas, we are very passionate about our families. You yourself have done it. Just let me and Cassandra go right now, Cole, and I will let it go as well. I won't report you to the council. This is, provided that you let my daughter out of your cells too. I saw Cheryl attack Raven, so I know that you may need to punish her, but Reagan didn't even get near Raven tonight. There is no need at all to punish her, she is innocent, I told them. I kept my head slightly lowered. As for this to work out, Cole needs to think that I am submitting to him. Submitting to his authority, when I am not, I will just wait to get him back after I get my family's freedom. I am going to deal with Justin too. That AE started this whole thing. Yes, I tried to spin it for people to think that Raven was attempting to take Reagan's mate, but I knew what he was doing. It is like he is deliberately trying to anger me, and he is. I will deal with him, but he knows where he stands now. He is refusing to be with Reagan, only on paper as he insists to me. I didn't think I need to have S*X in the contract, at the time. They had been having S*X for months, I seriously didn't think he was suddenly going to stop. I thought just having the 5-year clause in there was good enough. By that time they should have 3 or 4 pups, goddess willing. I thought that alone would be enough to hold him to Reagan forever. He is smarter than I gave him credit for. He is clearly still drawn to Raven, even after the rejection, and that is going to be a problem. Graham, you can tell them right now. The council was here for this event. In fact, he was one of the eyewitnesses to what your daughter Reagan did. But don't worry, even if you didn't see it, or allegedly didn't know about what it is that she did, it is all caught on video. You can watch it all play out at her trial, Cole tells me, and my eyes fly up to his. What has Reagan done this time? First, she lies to me that the bond between Justin and Raven was broken through rejection, and I find out about that lie as my very life was being threatened, and now this. Reagan has overstepped. I didn't know what she has done, but I don't know that I can get her out of it. The council is here, and it was recorded. Nothing that you say can go around the proof of what has happened. The whole council will see it, and they are not stupid. They will judge fairly, and with the law on it. What has Reagan done? I will of course want to see it. I am not aware of any wrongdoing by my daughter Reagan. I was not aware of anything happening tonight. Other than Cheryl starting a fight with Raven. That was it. Raven defended herself, it should be over with at this time. Raven bested Cheryl, so you should release her too. She received punishment for her actions tonight. I don't really know Cheryl, she is the daughter of my brand new beta, Silas Peters, and I was not made aware of any agenda that she may have had. They just arrived at my pack yesterday. I needed a gamma, and I have known Silas for over 20 years. I had no reason to think that there would be a problem adding him and his family to the pack. How can I be held accountable for anything Cheryl does? I am sure this whole thing was just a big misunderstanding. I think if we calmly sit down, and discuss this, then we can get it all worked out. Raven is clearly okay, and with her maid now, so I don't see what the problem is. I told them. I am desperately trying to stay calm here. I am at their mercy right now. Oh, you will see it, Graham, but it will be at the trial. Not tonight though, you can hang that up. But you can still find out what happened. When you get to the cells, you will be able to ask your precious, innocent, daughter what she has done this time. You should also encourage her to not lie about her actions. I already know that she will not want to admit it, but you can tell her that rest assured that even if she never admits it, it is about to be a matter of record. She will rise to fame with everyone knowing what a vicious and dangerous daughter you raised, Graham. It really shows what a difference a dad makes. My daughter doesn't do things like that. She is loving and kind, and before you try to claim her as your daughter too, stop. You and Cassandra didn't raise Raven or help her out despite the many times she needed it. She basically raised herself in a pack of abusive wolves. A pack that you encouraged to hurt her, with no punishment given for the abuse. So just realize, that you will be having your day in court too, Graham. I won't let you get away with one little thing. You will answer for all your actions too, and Cassandra as well. She stood by, seeing it, allowing her own blood to be treated like that, and did nothing, all because she still wanted to go shopping on your dime. You two deserve each other, and I am so glad that the goddess stopped me from marking her, Cole told the room, in a controlled voice. He was most dangerous when he was like this. He was trying to stay calm, but his wolf wanted to attack. We never hurt her, Cassandra called out, not realizing that Cole was hanging on by a thread. He could strike at any moment, and that would not be good for either of us. Dad, just take them to the cells. He is ruining my party, and I don't want to see either of them. This was my fault for inviting them here. I wanted them to see that I was happy now when I should have realized that they would do anything to keep me from being happy. Please calm down, Dad, they will get what is coming to them, either by you, or from the goddess, but it is coming, I heard Raven say in a soothing voice. I see her holding her father's hands in hers and getting him to look at her, and not me anymore. She is not scared of him at all, and I see him start to relax. I am kicking myself for not just bringing her to him. I should have, the moment she was born. I was just so angry and wanted someone to blame for all of this. Keeping her was the dumbest thing that I could have done, and if we get out of this with our lives, I will be grateful. I knew he was furious, but he clearly has been getting ready with the council, so he can move forward once they give him the go-ahead. War is coming, and I doubt Cassandra and I will survive it if we are there when it happens. I am going to have to notify the pack. They will have to get ready, we will have less than a month to get prepared, that is the usual time for the council to thoroughly review all the charges. I bet he went either a week or two ago, so they need to get up to speed in the next 2 weeks. This is going to be a very tight timeline. I will also have to get a shelter ready for the elderly and children too. We haven't been attacked for a long time and have nothing to protect the weak with. Protect the weak, that is a joke, right, Graham? Wasn't that Raven herself, and yet you ignored her bruises and injuries? All for this woman who only wanted to be with a rich mate. That was her requirement. You snatched her up like she was a trophy. Great idea, Graham, all of your actions, and hers got us here. You knew Raven belonged to Cole, and yet you kept her to take your anger out on. You not laying your hands on her doesn't excuse either of you. The council won't be swayed by your innocent act. You have already been exposed, and you will have to bear the penalty for it. In fact, the whole pack will, and they deserve it too. My wolf, Tyuko, said to me in our link. Shut up, don't you think I know it? I should have killed her, and we wouldn't be in this position, I growled back in my link. No, you should have let her go to her father, the minute you realized. Like he asked you to do. But instead, since you can't punish Cassandra or your pup, you chose to punish his. He was a victim, and so was his daughter, he is rightfully angry. You will get what you deserve out of this, Tyuko tells me and fades away to another recess of my mind. Timothy, can you and Joshua go with the warriors to take them down to the cells? You don't have to let them share a cell. I changed my mind, I don't want them to get into a fight with each other. They are ITS and might try to pawn their injuries off on Bloodwalker like we did it to them, Cole tells his beta. That was smart because if we did get into a fight, and I truly wanted to slap Cassandra right now, I was planning on telling the council that he let his men abuse us. Timothy pulls me up to my feet, and his son Joshua helped Cassandra up, and we were taken out to the cells. The building itself was 20 feet wide and 30 feet long. It looked like a normal storage shed or something. It was actually built into the ground, and if you didn't know it was there, you might have passed it. There were 3 warriors there for their shift, all sitting behind a 10-foot-long desk. They all stood up when Beta Timothy came in with me, and they all knew I was an alpha and were surprised at my being there. Guess what, guys? I am just as shocked at your alpha's nerve at locking me up as you are. They unlocked a door behind them, and we entered a back room, with a 5-foot-wide stairwell heading down to the cells. It was dark with the only light in the ceiling coming about every 5 feet. The cells themselves were surprisingly clean. They had a drain plug for each cell, and they had hoses built into the walls to spray the cells down with. No one had been in our cells for a long time. Not even rogues. I am also quite sure they hadn't been cleaned in a while either. Didn't matter, I won't be going in them myself, I am just glad that these had been well taken care of. I didn't want my tux to get messed up, and I am sure Cassandra would not like her dressed messed up either. I will do you a favor and put you near your daughter, so you can see her face. I think that you getting a front row seat to see her as she lies right to your face will remind you of the viper that you raised. In you go, Beta Timothy said as he opened the cell door across from Reagan. She was excited when she saw me, probably thought that I was coming to rescue her from the cells, and then noticed that I was in the same boat that she was. I see her face lose the smile and get sullen and then go back to the cot against the wall, to sit on the thin mattress on it. Cassandra was put in the cell next to mine and across from Cheryl when I noticed that the beta's son started acting funny. I watched him motion his dad to the side and then speak for a short time and then call one of the warriors down from upstairs to speak to him for a minute too. What is going on? I am suddenly worried. Are they going to try to interrogate us? Will they be hurting my mate, or daughter to get them to tell the truth to them? That would explain the hoses being able to power wash, and take care of the cells on either side of it, and why they might have to hose down the cells. I realize that we could really be in a bad spot right now, and I am worried. I look across at Reagan and know I have to ask her what is going on. I need to know what she did. The men all go upstairs, and the door at the top of the stairs shuts, but I can hear them all speaking with each other. I don't know what their problem is, and I couldn't care less. We are alone now, and Reagan is going to tell me what she did. Reagan, what did you do at the ball? What have you done? I need to know, as I can't get you out of it or downplay it until I know exactly how serious the charge is going to be, I asked her. She works up some tears and said, "Nothing, Daddy, I was just speaking with Brandon, from the Black Adder pack. He dropped his drink, and I offered him mine. That was it. I didn't do anything else," Reagan tells me as she lets a few tears fall. She is good, I would almost believe her, but Cole is right, she is my daughter, and that is why I knew she was lying to me. Are you sure, Reagan? Alpha Cole seems to believe that you and Cheryl here, colluded together to do something bad. Do you not want to tell me, so I can make up a defense for it? Are you sure you want to try to handle this alone, without my help? Because that is where you are about to be. I can already tell that it is bad, really bad, what you did. Cole told me that you would refuse to admit it. He also told me to tell you that he had invited the council here for the party. That the council member was an eyewitness to what you did. You sure you don't want to come clean? I asked her again, and she looks surprised, but she still stays with her story. She still seems confident in her answer. I am suddenly angrier than when Cole threatened my life a few weeks ago. That was because of her too. I remember what Raven just said to Justin at the venue, about just discovering that you ended up with the lesser sister. I just realized that Raven was right. All the spoiling, and coddling her, letting Reagan literally almost get away with murder, got us here. With an ungrateful, spiteful, entitled little she-wolf. I had to sit down. This was going to be really bad. It hits me, that for the first time ever, I may not be able to help her with this. She is going to have to pay for her actions, and I suspect that they were pretty bad from how she is acting. Reagan, I know that you are lying to me. Please just tell us, or you will have to deal with this alone. You are tying our hands, and this is bad. I know it is bad, I told her. Dad, can you trust me? I got this. Even if they suspect, they can't prove anything. They will have to let us go, so just chill. It is fine, Reagan tells me, and I shake my head in defeat. We are done here. She didn't listen the last time to my warning, and she tried again after I told her to leave Raven alone. This is on her. Alpha Cole said to tell you that he knew you wouldn't admit it. He also said to tell you that he has it all on video. Everyone will see them at your trial, I told her. Chapter 37 Reagan's POV. Everything was going perfectly tonight until I got approached at the bar by the beta couple for Blood Walker. I heard Cheryl causing the disturbance I asked her to do, and thought it was all perfect timing. She started it as I was speaking with Brandon. I gave him the dosed glass of champagne, and I got away with it. No problems at all, smooth as silk. I was just clapping myself on the back for a job well done when they stepped up to the bar, one on either side of me. I smiled and spoke nicely to them as more people poured out of the room we were in to go see who dared to cause a disturbance here at the ball for Alpha Cole's daughter. I kept the smirk on my face. The ball is being ruined, and she is about to lose her second chance mate. How much better will this be able to get? They didn't speak to me, and I was just waiting for another champagne from the bartender. Since I had given my spiked one to Brandon, I texted Cheryl, "In 5 minutes you need to put yourself in Brandon's line of vision. He will be overheating and tugging at his clothes when he is ready to go. Approach him." Then I heard a click to my right and see that Beta Timothy had taken a picture of the text that I was sending. Rude. I put my phone up and look up at him to tell him that he can't do that. "You are the most vicious girl that I have ever seen," Beta Timothy said to me. "I agree with you, Timothy, she is absolutely disgusting with the lengths she will go to," his beta female said, and they each took one of my arms and led me towards an emergency exit. I struggled and looked around for help. Just when I thought all was lost, I saw my husband speaking to Brandon. They were in a serious talk, almost an argument. I called out Justin's name to get his attention. He glances over at me and then looks right back at Brandon as they continued to speak. "That son of a bitch. I am going to make him suffer for that." I am screaming out for help as I am taken across the backyard to a little building about 2,000 feet away from the venue. It looked like a small library or something, so how bad could it be? I guess maybe they will have me sit here and call my dad to come out here to get me. When he does, I swear I am going to slap Justin right in his stupid, handsome face. I am growling in displeasure. Someone will be paying for the treatment that I am receiving right now. My father will kill you for this, Beta Timothy. You better just prepare for it, because you are going to deserve it when it happens. He will make you sorry that you were even born. Don't think I will forget it either. I will be Luna at Silver Blade soon, and I will make it my business to get you back for shaming me like this. I am the daughter of an alpha. Do you know what the charges for attempting to hurt the daughter of an alpha are?" I said to him in a threatening tone, as they let me go after the door was locked behind us. "Do you know what the charges for intentionally hurting? Attempting to kill? And attempting to hurt the daughter of an alpha is?" Beta asks me in a mocking voice. I refused to squirm under his gaze. It is like he knew what I had done to Raven. I am not going to let him know that I was scared. I am alone, and no one knows where I am. Plus it was really her word against mine. The proof was gone from the Pack Hospital. Dad took care of that after it happened. He didn't want to get into trouble if the word had gotten out that I tried to kill my sister. As long as I don't admit it, they have nothing on me. Most of the people ignored me when I was screaming for help when they took me out of the venue. My good-for-nothing husband did nothing to help me either. I am going to make sure he knows what he did wrong when I see him again. It was like he didn't even care that I was being kidnapped. They could be going to hurt me to get back at what I did to Raven when we were growing up. I wished I had trained now. I wish that I would be able to protect myself if it came down to it. I take a few steps back away from the beta couple, and when the door opened behind them, I made a run for it. I had to get out of here. I needed to let my parents know where I was. I didn't belong here. I didn't even make it through the door. 3 warriors entered with Cheryl. She is screaming her head off and I backed up to get further away from them. What had they done to her? I wonder if they are going to do something to me now, as they all looked pissed that I had tried to escape. The beta couple was standing there, calm as can be. Now I realized that even if I had tried to run, they train every day, they would have let me run, and they would have caught me well before I made it back to the venue. I was screwed for the moment. I just have to play along right now until my dad comes to rescue me. I was confident that my parents would come to get me, they always do. Then I will dole out the punishment that I needed, being put in the cells like I was a criminal. I am stunned to see that Cheryl has been hurt. Who would do such a thing to a werewolf? I mean, she wasn't like a model before, but she was attractive. Now all you immediately see when you look at her, is the flaw on her face. She will definitely have a scar that is at least 1.5 inches in length after this. I say definitely since she is here, it is not being treated, the scar is inevitable. It will be the first thing that people see when they look at her from now on. I didn't think she was vain, but I am positive that she will be very upset once she sees the damage to her face after she calms down. Don't forget to tell your dad where I am, Reagan, so he can be sure to kick my ass beta. Timothy called out to me sarcastically, and then started laughing. I flushed as I remember that he had told my dad to cross over onto Bloodwalker land the night Raven ran away. My dad wouldn't do it. He was clearly intimidated by him, and that makes me embarrassed too. He wasn't scared of my dad at all, he knew I was just full of empty threats and he wasn't concerned at all. The beta for Bloodwalker was as strong, or stronger than my dad, who outranks him as an alpha wolf. Cheryl and I were escorted down to the cells and at least they weren't horrible. I have seen cells before, and they were not happy places, but at least these were clean. We each went into a cell and waited until we heard the doors shut upstairs, leaving us in silence. We sat there in silence for a few minutes, listening to make sure that we were totally alone down here, with no sounds heard other than our breathing. What happened to you? I asked Cheryl. I was causing a distraction, just like you told me to, Reagan. It was working, and I was really going off on her. Then she started to clap back at me, being rude. She was disrespecting me. I mean, I know it is her party, but I am a gamma, and a good fighter. I wasn't worried about her. You said neither of you had been trained and I just wanted to let her know to stay away from Brandon. I was just trying to scare her. But you lied to me, Reagan. Raven does know how to fight, and very well. I got my A*S handed to me in there, and she didn't even break a sweat or start breathing hard. Was that your intention, to make me look like a fool in there? Cheryl asked me. I am shocked. When did Raven start mouthing off and knowing how to fight? She has been gone like 3 weeks. How could she have changed so much in that short amount of time? I don't believe it. I bet Cheryl can't fight, and just wanted to save face by lying to me about what happened. I have only known her a day, but I didn't trust her, or her dad, Silas. I knew who they were. I heard how they spoke when they got to the pack. They are both good at conning people, but you can't con a con. I make a mental note to tell Dad too because I don't care why he wanted them at Silver Blade, they all 3 have to go. I don't trust them or want them there. I stepped out to do Cheryl this favor as a friend. To show her that I wanted to help her, yes, as well as hurt Raven too. I went out on a huge limb here, much more than she did. All she had to do was distract Raven for 5 minutes, she couldn't even get that done. That is a good enough reason to not have them in the pack anymore, well, as far as I was concerned. She can't follow simple directions. I said a distraction, not a fist fight, stupid. That was too much distraction. You could have just spoken to her, politely, for a few minutes before going to get your mate. Now Goddess knows who he is with. I did my end of it. He took the drink. Well, at least he could have found someone else there before he met Raven. It would have been you if you could follow simple directions, Cheryl. I stuck my neck out for you. I mean if someone saw it, my head might be on the chopping block now. I am telling you now, if I get busted, you will be busted too. I will tell them how you conned me into helping you, because of how much you are obsessed with him, and forced me to help you. So, if I go down, you are too, Cheryl. So we need to figure out what we need to say to get out of here, as quickly as we can, I told her, and we both start thinking about a way out of our predicament. I heard the door open at the top of the stairs and wondered who was coming now. I see Beta Timothy a second before I see Dad, and I fly to the bars to thank him for coming to get me. Then I see that Dad is cuffed. What is going on here at Bloodwalker? Do they really think that we will allow this to go unchecked? My mom is right behind him, also cuffed. I stagger back. I need to sit back down. How? How could this be happening to us? Dad starts playing 20 questions with me. I already know the drill. I am not going to admit to anything. No one saw anything. I already know that it was my word against theirs. I am about to become Luna, so if they know what's good for them, they will just forget about something that just can't be proven. Then Dad drops the hammer. No, I did my research, and they couldn't have cameras. One of our pack members helped build this place. They just got done like 5 days ago. He said they didn't have any cameras in the venue when I asked him just yesterday. But they could have gotten someone else to come in and install them, I guess. I am such an IT, I should have looked for them myself. I know better than to trust others. I know better than they do. What a freaking rookie mistake I had made. This is unbelievable. I want to throw something, but I have nothing in my room to throw, just the mattress. I have no one to blame but myself in this. Goddess, I just told Dad several times that I hadn't done anything. He knew I did, and I lied right to his face. He was testing me. He already knew I had done something, and that it was pretty big. Holy St, someone told on me. They had a warning of what we were going to do. It has to be Justin. My parents and her parents didn't know. Justin wasn't there with us, but he hates me now, and getting rid of me, quite literally, will allow him to go and try to get Raven back. It will be over my dead body too, just like I told him that it would be. It has to be him, even though I didn't actually see him. I was on the Alpha floor when we went over the plans. Very few people would have access to our floor. I bet it set him off thinking about how I had done the same thing to him. That was probably why he did it. He was really pissed off about me doing it to him. He missed dinner right after we got the plans nailed down. He was nowhere to be found for hours. I know it has to be him. Goddess, I am really going to kill him. His telling them about the plan allowed them to be prepared to catch me. Everyone else knew much better than to cross me. I can feel blood coming out from the palm of my hands because I am gripping my hands so tightly that my nails are cutting into them. I will kill him for his treachery if I find out that he had been involved. If he cannot be trusted to follow the contract, to comply with being my mate, I will have no choice but to kill him. I refuse to allow him to be the Alpha of Silver Blade. How I could reward him if he betrayed me. I am an IT, I mean I was dragged away from him, clearly in a lot of trouble, and he is going to just keep standing there talking. Like he didn't just look me right in the face and knew I needed his help. What could have been more important than me at that moment? I didn't have any proof that he had done anything other than that. He honestly had no reason to think that I was in any kind of danger. Taking me away or, more to the point, hurting me, would start a war between our packs. Alpha Cole wasn't an IT. He would never do that to me. It may be that he had different crews do different things working on this venue. The cameras would logically be installed last, it could just be a coincidence. Maybe I am getting paranoid now. Dad had me creeped out. I mean, I was freaking out for a moment. They have nothing on me. Alpha Cole was just bluffing. He may suspect something, but I had heard that Alpha Cole was having Raven's last name changed from Sullivan to Walker, and I can't say that I am unhappy about it. Everything that they do gets me one more step away from Raven. Yes, we had similar facial structures and features, they were from Mom, but our coloring and attitudes were completely different from each other. If we weren't near each other, people didn't even notice how much we looked alike. I like that. Soon, I will be their only daughter and Dad will have to help me out, but for right now, I will be keeping my mouth shut about it. If I don't admit it, they will have nothing on me. I am not an IT. Dad taught me that at a young age. Even if they did see me pour something into the glass, it wasn't his glass at the time, it was mine. I can put whatever additive that I want into my own glass. I laid down on my mattress and turned to face the wall. My father is still staring at me as if he knows that I did something really bad and his stare was starting to get to me. I don't need the guilt he is giving me. I need to think up a plan, a good one that will work for me. I am pretty quick to think of a few defenses for my actions. I already know that I can outsmart Alpha Cole. He may be gung-ho over his daughter right now, but he can't do a thing to me. As long as they can't prove what was in his drink, I am golden. My only saving grace here is the fact that the glass has already been washed by now. Brandon drank it, the evidence is all gone. That brings a smile to my face. It is really hard to get it to pop on a test unless they go in there early, and test specifically for it. It only lasts for a few hours, so that is why I took the bottle of wine upstairs with me and Justin. I knew that I needed to get him to keep drinking it, so he would be easier to manipulate. I am still holding out hope that I am pregnant. I was so disappointed that the pregnancy test last week had come back negative. It has been almost 2 weeks since the last time we were together. I have lined up 2 guys that look like Justin, so our pups will resemble him, but I don't want to have to resort to that. I need Justin to just do as I say, and sleep with me. We will need heirs, he has to be able to see that, to realize that we will have to pass the pack on eventually. Wolves are protective of their young, so I guess when we get out of here, I will make that happen. I guess I will just dose Justin, again and again, until I get pregnant. God is willing I can have twins, and only need 1 pregnancy. That way I will have done my job for the pack. I had thought it all out. Staying calm was the most important thing. At first, it seemed like Justin had been a traitor. I will still keep an eye on him and see if I see any problems. But my head was telling me that I was overthinking things again. Justin knows better than to cross me. He knows that I will willingly end him, and then replace him. Raven is too pissed at him to take him back, so he is stuck. Stuck with me, until I am done with him, and not a minute before. He will stay with me, or we will banish his family, but in his heart, he knows what they will mean. Dad will have his family killed, and Justin will never see them again. If I investigate and find out anything that suggests to me that he crosses me, then I will make him sorry for it. He can watch his whole family die in front of him, and then he will be killed last. He will carry the weight of knowing that he was the reason that they died. For his sake, or better yet, for his family's sake, I hope he did not forget who he was dealing with. Because the cost of betraying me will be a high one. I closed my eyes as I need to get some sleep. I am not going to worry about this anymore. There is nothing to be gained from it. I just can't see any of the people here at Bloodwalker managing to outsmart me. They are strong fighters, but kind of stupid, so I am not worried about any of them at all. I did make a mental note to tighten up and be more aware. No more slip-ups, I need to do this like I learned when I first started doing as Dad told me to. Mind what I say, do exactly like I was told, and look for cameras or microphones in the ceiling. I forgot about that one, I feel like slapping myself. Look for cameras, I learned my lesson, I will never forget it again. I haven't admitted anything, they don't have a thing on me, and there is nothing that they could do to me. I slipped off to sleep with a smile on my face. Tomorrow is another day. I will deal with whatever comes to me. I am certain that I will be walking out of Bloodwalker tomorrow. I didn't do anything wrong, and there is nothing they can do to prove I did. I will stick to my guns, and they can just shut up. Because without a shred of proof of any wrongdoing, I won't be going anywhere except back to Silver Blade tomorrow. They can be mad all they want, but come tomorrow I will be free of this hellhole, and I won't be coming back. Not ever again. I don't mind playing a dangerous game, I have never lost any of them so far, and I don't plan on starting to lose now. Chapter 38 Justin's POV. How could Raven be so heartless to me? I loved her, why would she turn her back on me like that? I begged her to just give me some time, and she flat out refused. That AE she is mated with needs to be taught a lesson too. I mean, I went out of my way to tell Alpha Cole about what Reagan was planning, so he could take care of her, and stop her from doing it. I need Reagan taken care of, so I can be free again. I guess that I am going to have to try to get Reagan free from the cells. She is going to be pissed that I didn't help her when they took her out of here. I thought that they would be progressing faster, I don't need this case to drag on. I am going to have to come up with something that shows her I cared about her, but I was trying to handle business at the time. Defend her, and her family, at least that is the line I am about to give them. OST, her family. How much had they heard of what I said? All of it? None of it? Just coming back into the room to see me with my arms around her waist. I need to know, so I know how to twist that around too. Goddess, why do I still want Raven so badly? She is there in my mind all day, and even in my dreams. Ever since I stroked her face, I wanted to stroke every inch of her body. To worship it with my hands, and my tongue. To make her scream my name over and over again. It never went away. I mean, I felt terrible at the gate, she did her side of it right. For a brief time, I felt intense pain. For about 30 minutes, then it went away, but I still had thoughts of Raven still running through my mind. She has had a hold of me since the moment I touched her. I know that Luna Cassandra had caught some of it, but I don't think that she will tell that I had announced it in front of so many others. She knows that if she does tell on me, things will be bad for everyone. I will make sure that she gets no peace again if she does. She was just mad and went to slap me, but what I said to her was the truth. Graham and Reagan knew it, as I had told them both. I wanted out of the contract, and they forced me back into it. I don't think that Graham was going to be that mad about me spilling the beans, as he had pushed Raven in there and she had announced it too. That she was my mate, and not Reagan's. It should not come as a shock to them that the word is spreading around. They pushed it onto me, and I am going to be pushing back from now on. Dad is still angry with me, but he knew I had been put in a position that I could not get out of. He knew how Graham, and Reagan, were. He had warned me about them, but I guess I thought I knew better than he did. I was an IT, and I would be the first one to admit it. I had just mind-linked Dad to ask if anyone had asked where I went last night. Thankfully, no one had yet. I told him to tell Mom and my younger brother to tell anyone that asked that I was there with them. I do eat with them a few times a week, as I can't stand the sight of Reagan most days. I found out that Mom made meatloaf and mashed potatoes last night, so if I were asked, I would know what to say. They all know what is going on, and how I was tricked. They all have my back, and they are the only reason that I came back to the pack. I didn't want them to be banished, or worse, killed. My heart is aching in my chest as I went out to where I was told the cells were. I just wanted to see Reagan, and Graham, to see what they wanted me to do. They think that they are so smart, but it is easy to trick a horny teenager. We are only focused on physical pleasure, not reading a boring contact. I learned from what they did to me. I will never again sign a contract with them or anyone without making sure I understand it. I was in a hurry the last time. Reagan was up in her room waiting on me, and I just gave a cursory glance at it. Didn't see a problem and signed on the dotted line to go and spend some time with Reagan. I have no idea what I ever saw in her, to begin with. Goddess, her only purpose for existing was to become Luna of this pack. For the money she receives to increase, so she can have all her dreams come true, oh yes, and to hurt Raven as much as she can. Well, looks like the joke is on Reagan now, because Raven is living her best life. I overheard some of the guys talking about how Raven took Cheryl down. Looked gorgeous doing it, and never broke a sweat. They all wanted to see if they could be her mate. Every freaking one of them. They made no bones about wanting her, and I almost punched one of them when he was talking about the kick Raven apparently did on Cheryl. Apparently, Raven showed a lot of leg while doing it, and when his comment involved her legs being wrapped around him, I couldn't contain my growl of anger. That is my mate he is disrespecting. He and his friends all took off as they knew I was pissed, and about to attack them. Only for me to suddenly remember that I wasn't her mate. That I am just the IT who lost her because I was scared of the pack members coming after me too. I don't know why, it was a well-known fact, that I was the strongest fighter, next to Dad. If I had been thinking correctly I would have realized that I may have had to fight a few of them, but they would have figured out really quickly that they were going to continue to get their as's kicked if the bullying had continued. I would have just told them that we were going shopping with her, or out to lunch, and rejected our bond with the pack. We could have run away together. She would still be my mate, and bear my mark, instead of Reagan. It is eating me up inside that this happened. I wish I could control how I feel, and I bet the goddess is getting a good laugh off of me on this one. Alpha Cole had given me permission to come down to speak with Reagan, and he had an escort come with me. I can understand why they would want that. Graham and Reagan were not known for being trustworthy, and the rest of us were branded just like them. So I was not allowed to touch her, or close enough to touch the bars on her cell either. I was to stand in the circle in between their cells to speak, and then leave with my escort. He stayed back at the bottom of the stairwell giving me a little privacy, but I knew that he had a visual on me. I stepped into the circle and saw that Reagan was asleep. Of course, she was. Why should anything I do work out at any point? I start getting angry again, and it is because I know at this point that Raven is now marked by another man, and is no longer mine anymore. My heart feels like it is being squeezed inside my chest by an invisible hand, and the pain of it causes me to make a low sob. I thought I would be busted out for caring about Raven, when I heard Graham say, "I thought you didn't care for her anymore." I am not stupid, I will play along with this. It should be my get out of everything card. Plus, if I sleep with her when she gets home, I should be completely in her favor again. I stopped sleeping with her once I decided that I wanted to be with Raven. I had thought that Raven was going to wait for me, to be able to be with her. But I underestimated just how pissed off she was at me. She doesn't want a thing to do with me, she is way past pissed off. She didn't even stop when I begged her to not mark that AE. She knew I was there, and yet she did it anyway. Another whimper of pain escapes me, and Graham steps towards the cell bars to speak with me, and I turn to look at him. His blue eyes, which are an exact match to Reagan's, look back at me unblinking. Graham seemed to want to look into my soul. He can go ahead and do it. My soul is in pain, and if he thinks it is because of Reagan's dumb *s, so be it. This whole family is driving me crazy, and I can't get away from any of them. I had hope today. Hope that I could speak to Raven, to tell her how I feel, how much I love and miss her. To show her that I had changed by telling her dad important information. I thought that tonight, she might accept me back, and at least give me a kiss. Not for her to ignore me and mark another man right there in front of me. She told me I hurt her, and I did, but thousands of men have hurt women through the ages. Done stupid things, but still loved their women. I guess Graham saw what he wanted in my eyes and then looked over at Reagan's sleeping form and said, "She really messed up tonight, Justin. I don't know what she did. She keeps lying to me and saying that she didn't do anything." From the sounds of it, whatever it was not bad enough to interrupt her sleep from it. I know it will be bad, but according to her, she is guilty of nothing. I am glad you will support her as well because, with the council involved, this will go sideways fast. Cole said he has a video of whatever it is, we need to be able to downplay it, so we will have a meeting after we get out of here. By any chance, did she happen to tell you what it was that she did? I have some free time to try to think of a way to spin it, while I am doing nothing here. She is my only child, and even though she can be a terrible handful, I just want what is best for her. Alpha Graham tells me, and I know he is upset by what happened tonight. She didn't tell me either, I am sorry. I saw her being escorted out, but I was speaking with Brandon at the time, and he was being very ugly about Reagan, and something to do with a drink. I did see her, but I was trying to set him straight before I went running after Reagan. Once I got outside, because the door they used was locked, I lost her and didn't know where they had taken her. I had been begging Raven to tell me where they put Reagan when you and Luna Cassandra came back into the room. I just found out about 15 minutes ago, where I needed to come to be able to visit you. I wish I knew what was going on. People are not telling me, and it worries me too, sir, I told him, and I think I did enough of a good job to escape any and all problems that would come with having been the one to warn Alpha Cole. Alpha Cole and the council members still need me to tell them the additional information that I have on Silver Blade. They want as many charges as they can get, and for that, they need an inside man. I admit that the only reason I had originally helped them was to curry favor with Raven. She is marked now and has her second chance mate. She will be leaving to go to his pack soon, and I won't be able to see her anymore. She will be his tonight, and my heart twists in pain again. I can barely stop the sound from escaping. I just realize that since I still feel the connection, am I also going to feel it when they fully mate too? Is the goddess that heartless to do that to me? How is it heartless, Justin? Didn't she end up passing out in pain from you and Reagan having *X out there in the forest? Wasn't that the reason she fell out of the tree, my wolf, Lorne, asks me in Mind Link. For the goddess's sake, Lorne, I didn't know she was there for her to be able to scent me. She didn't feel it any of the time before because she didn't know that I was her mate. If I had only known that she was out there, I would never have done it. If I knew then what I know now, I would have never slept with Reagan in the first place. I linked back, furious that he has mentioned it again. I already felt incredible guilt over it, to begin with. He knows as well as me that she could have been killed if she had landed wrong after she fell from the tree. The goddess herself must have protected her. I can see that you are really upset by this turn of events, Justin. I will help you both out of whatever bind Reagan has put you in. I will see if I can't get her to stop. I had already told her to stop, and I know you had too, that she needed to leave Raven alone. She will have to now. I don't want to be getting into it with Blackadder too. We are already in the middle of it with Bloodwalker. That is bad enough. Brandon will definitely not allow it, he is very possessive of her already. Reagan better hope that whatever she did to piss him off, will pass quickly, Alpha Graham said. What did you say? Did Brandon mark someone tonight? Who? I heard Cheryl speak from her cell next to Reagan. Actually, he allowed his mate to mark him first. I left to come and visit you, but I would assume that he marked her in return, I told Cheryl. I deliberately omitted to tell her who. I was going to prolong her pain as long as I could because she had helped to cause this. If she were better at seducing people like Reagan was, she would have already taken Brandon out of the equation years ago. Then my sweet mate, Raven, would still be patiently waiting for me to be able to claim her. Who? Who is he mated to? Cheryl almost whispers the question out. I can tell she is upset, but no more than I was. Raven, I told her in a curt way, and she surprised us all by screaming out in anger. She is cursing Raven and says all sorts of vile things about her. When she started on the threats on Raven's life, I couldn't contain my growl at her. Forgetting who I was standing next to, but again he misinterpreted my growl at Cheryl. Didn't I just tell you both, that none of you need to mess with Raven ever again? Do not approach her, do not hurt her. We are done, there will be no more. I will kill you myself if I find out that you didn't listen to me. We will all be lucky to get out of this mess with just a fine or something. We cannot afford any more charges levied against us. Or incidents against us. No more. Alpha Graham roars out the last bit and Reagan ends up waking up and turns over to see what is happening. Before she can open her mouth to see what is happening, I hear a voice from right behind me. I almost jumped because no one was there before, but my escort comes sliding past me and stops in front of Cheryl's cell. You are a real piece of work, and I see what I could have been condemned to now. I am glad to see your real feelings come through. I was going to give you a chance, despite what my father told me. After seeing how much you care for the mate that you chose for yourself, I have changed my mind. I, Joshua de Savage, incoming beta of the Bloodwalker pack, reject you, Cheryl Peters, as my true mate, he tells her, and from the look on his face, he is almost too disgusted to look at her. I see tears in Cheryl's eyes as she sees him, and didn't realize that he was there, or that she had a second chance mate. She is done for now, as she had rejected her first mate, and her second rejected her, but I can't blame him, she is obsessed with another man. I feel like I need to help him out, I know the heartbreak he is going through while waiting on her to accept it. Answer him. Now. Accept his rejection, right now, I yelled at her. She needs to just accept it, she caused it to begin with anyway by hurting her second chance mate like that. I, Cheryl Peters, daughter of the Gamma of the Silver Blade Pack, accept your rejection, Joshua de Savage, Cheryl said, and I could tell he instantly felt better, but her pain increased. Seeing it play out in front of me, I see it clearly now. Sometimes when the person who was in the wrong accepts the rejection, they seem to feel the brunt of the pain. Joshua looks at me and nods as he passes me. I can tell that he was giving me thanks for forcing her to stop stalling and trying to find a way to talk him into it. He walks back down the hallway to the stairs to stand again. I no longer want to be here with them. Seeing Reagan, and the rejection that just happened reminds me of the pain I bear for doing the same thing. Why are you here, you traitor? Reagan yells at me and reaches out of her cell to try to punch me. Great, my mate wants to go around with me now. Goddess, please just make this night go by quicker. I am miserable here, and I just want to leave. Chapter 39 Reagan's POV. My father's roar wakes me up from my sleep. I am scared to hear it. I was worried that he was being tortured and immediately jumped up to check on him. I see Justin standing there, looking handsome, and the only one of us that was not currently locked up. I then remember that I owe him a punch. I walked up to the bars on my cell and tried to connect with his face when another guy walked past and starts to speak to Cheryl. Great, I swear that Cheryl just can't stop making problems wherever we go. She has caused enough problems already, but at least this one is going to really cost her, I should know. She rejected her first mate, to see if Brandon would be her second chance mate, and that didn't work out for her. This guy was really attractive, and in normal circumstances, I would have flirted with him, but Dad and Justin were both here. He was pissed and clearly disappointed in his true mate. Plus, with him being a blood walker, it just wasn't going to work out. I gnawed on my bottom lip. Goddess, I really hate that, as I can tell by how he moves he would be good to get tangled up with. I looked away when he glanced over at me, as I didn't want to get caught staring at him. I was actually surprised that Justin was the one to yell at her and tell her to accept the rejection. I know that pain, and so does Justin. It hurts. It hurts waiting for them to accept it, and it hurts when you do accept it. There was no real way to get around it, it was going to hurt you to your core. I knew she wouldn't want to accept it, as this would mean that she had lose her second chance mate. I am quite sure that she didn't want that to happen. I know I hadn't, but I had trapped myself in it. I am still kicking myself for it. I would have loved to try to get a hold of Carter, at least for a couple of days. Just to get him out of my system, but he was right, he was her half-brother. I could not stand to be around Raven, and it would have just been a train wreck. It would never have worked out, but it would have been a good week. The hot guy passes me after getting his rejection, and he is really angry but glad that she had finally accepted it. I was hoping that he would notice me when he passed by, but he didn't. He just nodded at Justin for his help, and went out of sight. I knew he was still around as Alpha Cole wasn't an IT, and knows better than to trust Dad. Dad happened to notice me checking the guy out and looked up at the ceiling in frustration. What? I was just looking. Even Dad strays, Mom doesn't, but she knows better. Dad is more of a do as I say, not as I do sort of person. He needs to calm down. Watching him as I grew up, it just seemed like he had a better life for it, doing what he wanted, and with whom he wanted. I just kind of copied him. So far, I was right. It is a better, and certainly a less boring, life. Reagan, you need to show more respect. Justin was truly worried about you and came down to check on you, and this is how you repay him? Trying to hit him, my dad said. Dad, he totally ignored me as I was literally being dragged away like a criminal. I needed his help and he stood there talking to Alpha Brandon. He should have been helping me, I cried out in anger. Alpha Brandon was speaking badly about you and our family. He was defending us, and immediately went after you, but the door they took you out of, was locked. By the time he got out of the place and started to look for you, you were gone. He did come after you, my dad told me, and it was plausible. They did have to unlock the door to exit it. This building was not that far away from the venue. It was very convenient, but also a good excuse. It sounded like he really did come after me, and I softened a little bit. I am sorry, Reagan. I should have left Brandon immediately, and tried to stop Beta Timothy, but I had no idea that they were really taking you away like that. You are soon to be the Luna of Silver Blade. What possible reason could they have for putting you in the cells? I think that it is just a power play to embarrass the family. I will work on getting you all free, but I wanted to check on you first, to make sure you are okay. I was so worried after I saw that you had really been taken away. Justin told me. I can see the concern and sadness in his eyes. I believe him, he didn't know what Cheryl and I had planned. I had just guessed that it was him, as I know how unhappy he has been lately. He was not as affectionate with me as he had been before. He was easier to control back when he was sleeping with me. It seems like everything is blown all to hell lately. Maybe he will bend, and come back to our room to sleep in the same bed again. I will go speak with Alpha Cole, and see what can be done. I will promise him that we will immediately leave, as I feel like we need to get out of here, and as quickly as we can. I have no interest in participating in any more of this stupid celebration here at Bloodwalker. This is all just an elaborate show, put on for us. They probably came up with the ball just to rub our noses in it. We came, we saw, we can just get out of here, as I see no purpose for us to stay. Agreed. Justin said, and I have to agree with him. I wanted to get out of here. We have no strength here, away from our pack. There is nothing good to come from staying here at Bloodwalker any longer. That is a great idea, Justin. I agree with you. We will leave as soon as Cole will allow us to, my dad said, and I nodded in agreement. I was ready to leave right now. Okay, I will see if they will at least get you some food or something to drink, while I go and speak with Alpha Cole. Don't worry, everything will work out, Justin told us and walked back to the stairs to be escorted out. Maybe things will work out between us. I believe what he said. I could tell that Alpha Brandon had an issue with me when I spoke to him. He had probably heard a lot of bad things about me from Raven. It is a pity, he is pretty attractive too. Justin is really stepping up here for us. He is calm, authoritative, and commanding right now. I sat back down on my bunk, steaming over what happened tonight. Why is the goddess blessing Raven with so many attractive men? She doesn't deserve them. Justin, and Brandon both, were way too good for her. The goddess clearly messed up, and badly, by giving her so many blessings. Raven was just a little pest that was truly undeserving. I deserved Justin, so I took him. Raven wouldn't have even been hurt like she had been if she had only listened. This whole mess has been caused by her not following the rules that my dad set in place for her. If she hadn't been out of her room, disobeying Dad, she would have never realized that Justin was her mate. She wouldn't have caught us together, and we would have been mated and marked without her getting hurt like she ended up being. That was all on her. I needed a strong mate to help me run Silver Blade. Yes, she had a crush on him, but none of us actually thought that they were going to be mates. Yes, I intended to take her crush, but the rest of the stuff was just a fluke, an accident. I just needed to make sure that I got my legacy, that pack was my birthright, not hers. This pack was hers. If she wanted one so bad, she could have this one, but not Silver Blade. That was mine, and if I need to, I will fight her for it. Why was Justin being so mean to me? Why did he force me to accept my mate's rejection? That wasn't fair. Cheryl called out from the next cell. I can hear her still crying about it, and she is really getting on my nerves. Stop crying. If you weren't so busy focused on getting Brandon, who is not your mate, you would have scented him when he brought us down earlier. Did you not even recognize him? He scented you, and yet didn't reject you. You did this to yourself, so stop crying. He said it himself, he was going to accept you, but he heard you going off on another tangent over Brandon, and that was it for him. I don't blame him, it is hard to hear your mate wanting another man. You belonged to him, and yet you were so pissed about Brandon, you lost your second chance mate. Brandon belongs to Raven, you lost, let it go. It is done now, and he was never yours. Justin did the right thing by telling you to accept it. We don't need any of our pack members to be involved with anyone from Bloodwalker. Cole is looking to get anything at all on us, while he builds up his case. He might have used your bond to get information from you. Suck it up and stop the crying, we need to get a plan together. Hopefully, we will be out of here soon, my dad tells her. I agree, shut up with the crying already. Yes, I think we will be getting out of here tonight, or in the morning at the latest. I know that Justin will get us out of here, I said, agreeing with Dad. Reagan, just watch Justin. Earlier tonight he was very upset when I tried to slap him for bad-mouthing you. He went off on me about you trapping him, and him never going to love you. Just be careful, I don't want him breaking your heart, my mom interjects. She has been quiet this whole time, but I am glad she loves me enough to tell me that. Dad and I were both already aware of it, but she was trying to protect me. I know, Mom, I know that he doesn't love me as he should. He has said that to both Dad and me before. Justin may have changed his mind when he realized that I had been kidnapped. The problem between us is all my fault. He hadn't forgiven me yet for drugging him. He didn't want to go along with the plan, and we had to use more forceful means to get it achieved. I will be watching him, but I think he is coming around now. I will make sure to keep an eye on him once I get out of here. The best news was that Raven is now claimed, and now that she is marked, Justin will have to let it go and move on. She is not his anymore, so I really think that Justin will be more on board with being an actual mate to me from now on. I will leave her alone, Dad, but if she starts to cause us problems, I won't hesitate to teach her another lesson. I already have the perfect plan in my mind, and I believe that Justin will be more than happy to help me carry it out, I told him, and try to hide my smirk at the devious plan that I had just come up with. As long as she stays in her lane, I will let her go. But if she causes me, Dad, or our pack problems, I will make sure she gets the payback that she deserves. Alpha Brandon is known for flying off the handle sometimes, so I know that he will fight back. I needed to take him out of the equation. Make him mad at her, so he stays out of it, and my plan is absolutely perfect. Although his mood swings could be because he has been abstinent for 6 years too, that probably played a role in it as well. I think anyone would be snapping at other people if they hadn't had S*X in 6 years. I agree, Justin will be easier to control now that Raven is no longer available. His wanting her, and her being so close to Silver Blade, was not ideal. He will finally have to admit to himself that she will not be accepting him. I think he just has a weird infatuation with Raven, probably because they had been mated. She didn't encourage him, she was clearly still angry at him for choosing you over her. No one knew that she would get a second chance mate so soon. I hope that this will end his own fascination with her. He doesn't realize that she is done with him, or at least he refuses to accept it. It is all in his head, him thinking that he still has a bond, or a chance, with her. He doesn't, he just has a lot of guilt over what he did, and what we forced him into. He had never done anything like this before, so the guilt is probably crippling him right now. That is all he actually feels, but he is thinking that it is love, he should be over it soon. We will just watch him, as he might try to do something drastic to try to get her back. Reagan, you just need to work your magic on him to bring him back in line again. We will need him to help us, especially if the council allows Cole to attack us, my dad said to us. I agree with that too, we need as many strong fighters as we can get. Our pack needs to step up and train, we have to be able to protect ourselves, and soon. We have been lax, and now we need to get in gear if we are to survive. What was the point in all of this if the pack gets wiped out before I can even take it over? I would be so pissed off if that happened. Raven gets to be a Luna, how unfair would it be if I didn't? I was raised my whole life to run this pack. I am so close to grabbing that rung, only for it to be snatched away from me. I feel like I could cry. I have wanted this, and only this, for the last 8 years. I was born to be the Luna of Silver Blade, and I will let nothing, and no one, take it from me. I have come way too far now to just give up. Whatever needs to be done to make sure that Justin and I get the pack from my parents, that is what I will do. Whatever it takes to get us out of this mess, Dad, I will do. I doubt that they will make us give up our pack. I think that we just need to train our members, and focus on the business end of this to build up our funds. I honestly believe that they will just be fining us, and not allow war. War is not in anyone's best interest. I think that as long as we build up our money, then we will be able to handle anything that comes our way, I told him. I can hear him chuckling from his cell. Dad, what is so funny over there? Why are you laughing? I asked him. Worried for his sanity now, as this was not a laughing matter. You are, Reagan. It really isn't funny, but you are now so into fixing this when you caused it. You don't take instruction, and you do what you want to do. I don't know how long the pack can survive after you and Justin take over. I told you to stop, and we are in this all because of your actions. You had to have Justin. You had to sneak out to have risky X in the forest. Which ended up tipping your hand and letting Raven know that not only did she have a mate, but that you were stealing her mate. You telling me that Justin had rejected her when he hadn't. Which resulted in my being threatened with death, was on you too. You assured me he had, even knowing who her dad was and that their bond still being in place could kill her. Now you pull something else. Cole is right, you are a real piece of work. You care about yourself, and what you can get, that is it. Justin was a means to an end for you. A way to get the spot you wanted, but most of all, a way to hurt your sister. You need to focus on keeping your spot in the pack now. You have got to leave Raven alone, or we will be destroyed, my dad tells me. I cannot stop my laughter from escaping. Why, Dad? Give me one good reason why. She is weak, and yes, she is getting back at us right now, but this is only because she is new to them. Her family will calm down soon. Her mate will too. A penny is only shiny for a little while, Dad. Soon life will be back to where it was for her, and she will be treated like the mistake she is. I will not cower away from her. There is nothing about her that impresses me, and soon others will figure that out as well. Stop worrying, everything will be fine, I told him, still chuckling at him being intimidated by Raven. That is hilarious, Dad must be losing it. Everything is not fine, you spoiled brat. Are you hearing what I am telling you? Brandon is tearing up our treaty, he will no longer be our ally. He refuses to continue on with it, as he is now aware of some of what she went through. When he goes, so do about 60% to 65% of our allies with him. He just told me that he was going to make calls and let them know, that if they are with me, they are against him. He will tear up treaties with anyone who supports us. We will be almost defenseless, and now is not the time for this to happen. The council will be ruling against us. We need to all pray for it to be only a fine, but I live in the real world, Reagan. One where your actions have actual consequences. You have no idea how many times I covered for you. How many times I have kept you from being punished for things you really needed to be punished for. I should have let you experience the punishment. I have created the very person who will end up destroying our pack. Please, Reagan, for the love of our silver blade, do not do anything else to Raven. I don't think that we can handle the consequences of it, my dad said, and my knees were weak. Realization set in. Brandon would do that for his mate. Just like I can feel Justin's emotions, and see some of his memories. I bet Brandon can do that with Raven too. So even if she didn't tell him what happened, he could see what she went through. I am so screwed. I already know with them being true mates it will be even stronger for them than it is for me and Justin. He may be able to see more and know more about what happened to her at Silver Blade. I believe Dad when he said that Brandon will be tearing up the treaty. He will do exactly what Dad said. If that happens we will have very few standing with us in case of attack. The ones left would be weak packs, like ours, who will offer no real help or support for us. We could be wiped out if we get attacked. The very real option of losing our pack is positively frightening. Where would we go? Where would we be able to live? This is going to affect so many things in our lives. We would no longer live as well as we do. The possibility of us being broke and homeless is looming over me. I cannot live like that. I didn't deserve to live like that. I refuse to do it. I have had a very comfortable life, and I can't just go and lose it all. I won't do it. I start making mental plans now. Yes, definitely build the business up more. Get the pack in shape because a war is coming. I will train too, even if I am not going to participate in it. Someone has to lead the women and children to the shelter. Yes, I need to build a shelter and stock it with some non-perishable food and water. I start to make plans in my head now as I am frightened of what is coming. I am their leader and I won't lose the only home I have ever known. Other packs are hesitant at taking in former Alpha and Luna ranks because sometimes their pack could get taken away from them when they do. I need a notebook, or my phone back, so I can make notes of what needed to be done. I have to make some drastic changes so Raven's family leaves us alone. I cannot allow it. I will have to do something about this. I won't stand by and watch as Silver Blade crashes and burns. I won't take this lying down. My mind goes into overdrive trying to figure out a way around this. With half the pack members at our pack, then Alpha Cole has at his, we are done for. I am not even taking into account all the people that Brandon has in his pack. I really regret what I did to him now. I am quite sure that he will be furious with me and want to pay me back for it. He will have to suspect me of it, as I gave him the drink. We are going to have to lay low for a while and think of a way out of this. Because if I can't live in peace and happiness, then neither can Raven. Chapter 40 Alpha Cole's POV. As soon as Justin got permission to go to the cells to check on his pack mates in the cells, I immediately went to speak with council member Emerson. I knew that we would be in a time crunch as they would be demanding Justin to get them free, and I was planning on playing along with them. I knew it was going to be a big thing, putting Reagan in a cell. I wanted to get Arnold's opinion on allowing them to drop their guard, by releasing all of them tonight. With a warning for them to leave Raven, and Brandon alone, from now on. I linked my beta and headed over to where Arnold is speaking to Olivia. I waited for them to finish their conversation, and before my mate slips off to go check on how the staff is doing for the party. Arnold, I wanted to get your opinion on allowing everyone to leave tonight, the Sullivans and their guest Cheryl. I was thinking that since they are alphas, and have a pack, they won't be able to run away, or hide like normal people would be able to. They will have to stay in the vicinity. Even if they tried to hide Reagan, I doubt they would be able to hide from Bloodwalker, Blackadder, and the Council. I really doubt that they would be able to keep us from finding her when the time comes for her trial, I said to Councilman Emerson. I think that the Alpha and Luna are fine to release. I saw that your daughter handled Cheryl very well, even with being a new fighter. I don't know about Reagan. I would feel more comfortable speaking to Brandon before doing that. He was the one that she was clearly trying to drug. I believe that allowing them to leave will allow them to make more underhanded plans against Raven and Brandon. I don't think that it is wise to release her just yet, Councilman Emerson answered me. I have cameras and audio in the hallway of the cells. Sometimes prisoners talk and admit things that they normally wouldn't when they are alone. Reagan admitted that she did her part in giving him the drink. She didn't admit to anything with her dad, but she did with it just being her and Cheryl. Plus we have her fingerprints on the glass, and a video of her dosing the glass, and then giving it to him. We have the eyewitness reports from you, your assistant, and Brandon. I think that releasing her from the cells will make her think that we don't have anything on her. I know they will immediately leave after being released. Better outside my pack than them being in it. I don't want any of them on my land. Plus, we can ask Justin to help us. I think it would be best if he can reach out to us if he hears a plan being made again, I told them, and I see that they are both thinking about what I have said. I agree with Cole that Reagan will think that we have nothing on her if we do release her. I think allowing her to assume that will result in a false sense of security for her, and she may give us additional charges to add against her. She already thinks that she is the smartest person in any group. I say give her room to really incriminate herself. We all know that she has it out for Raven. We can always ask Raven and Brandon their thoughts on it though. They will be the ones that will be affected the most. Also, Council Member Emerson, there is a mole in the Council employees. I do not believe that it is anyone who is on the Council itself. I remember Alpha Graham telling us that it was all Cole's fault for calling and reporting them to the Council. The day that Reagan drugged Justin to get him to mark her. I had just called to advise you earlier that day. So he has someone willing to give him a heads up. We need to take care of that issue quickly before he gets told what all we actually have on her, Timothy told Council Member Emerson, who looked shocked, and then thoughtful. I will look into that, Timothy. I have suspected we had a mole before in 2 other cases. They seemed like they were airtight, and then we lost them unexpectedly. I will call and see if these 3 cases have any of the same people working on them to try to see if we can figure out who it was as quickly as possible. So disappointing. Everyone there has to sign non-disclosure paperwork. They will be losing their job, and potentially going away for a while because of this. I will make sure that an example is made out of them too, Council Member Emerson told us, and we are all concerned about the information getting out. We can't let what we had from today be found out. I saw Council Member Emerson on his phone making some calls, and I realized that I had been so upset about Raven collapsing for a second time. I wasn't thinking clearly that day. Thankfully Timothy caught it. I was worried sick about Raven, and what they were doing to her. I was only focused on letting Graham know that if Raven died, Reagan would too, and I meant it. I knew Reagan was behind it, and she was. Thankfully, my beta had his head on straight that night because Graham had indeed said that to us. He already knew we had reported him, the same day we did it. The Council doesn't work like that, they just investigate by dropping in on you, and they never notify you they are coming to your pack. If I hadn't been so pissed off, I would have caught it myself. I am pretty sure that the similarities between what I went through, and what my daughter went through, were also part of the problem. I knew the pain that she was facing, and it was a tremendous amount. They had no regard for her or her life. I know that Reagan was vicious enough to be hoping that her doing that would kill Raven. It was a disgusting plan, and I also knew that Graham didn't know about the fact that Raven was still tied to Justin. He was horrified, and absolutely scared of my threat. He honestly didn't know, and that made Reagan even more dangerous. She was willing to do whatever she wanted, no matter who had to get hurt, or die, in the process. Okay, Cole, I just spoke with another council member, and he said that there are 3 women who were involved with the 3 cases in question. I think that we will feed each of them a sensational lie about this case. The one Graham finds out about should let us know which one it is when it gets repeated. He and his assistant are coming up with a few things right now to be passed on to the ladies. I think that this is a good idea, and I told him not to get too crazy with the lies, but they wanted something so sensational, that the mole would definitely take the bait. Plus, Graham wouldn't be able to restrain himself from having to confront you about it, Council Member Emerson told us. That is an excellent idea, Emerson. Let us just keep it between the 3 of us, until we know more. Please keep the proof we have against them secret for now. Don't add anything to the system, and make sure your assistant doesn't either from the drink being tested or the handprints on the glass. I want them to think that they may be able to dodge the punishment that is coming. I can't allow my daughter to not have vengeance for all she has suffered at their hands. I blame myself. I should have gone to their gate every month and demanded my child, even if they denied it. Sooner or later they would have given her to me, as the whole pack would have ended up talking about it. They are so different, it would have been clear to all that Raven was my daughter. I cannot believe what all she had to deal with there, and it is all my fault, I told them, and I am sick that she had such a horrible upbringing there. In my gut, Flint and I knew we had gotten Cassandra pregnant. But after years went by, we had given up hope. Yet she was there, alone and afraid, being bullied and abused each and every day. I cannot allow that to pass without punishment. Even if Raven doesn't want to pursue it, I have to do this for her. Even if the council votes against me, I will catch Graham out of his pack one day, and I will give him the beating of his life. But Cassandra and Reagan played a part in this as well, and I will have to think of what to do about them for them to get the punishment that they deserve too. They won't escape just because they are women. I think that Olivia and Raven can give them their gift for all they did for Raven. That seems fair to me. Cole, you have a weird smile on your face, are you okay? Timothy asked me. I am fine, I was just thinking about Raven getting to put the Sullivans behind her. They will get what is coming to them, with or without the council's blessing, I told them. Cole, have patience. I will help you. I understand what they did was horrible. You will get the vengeance that you need, just let it be through us. Legal, and above board, so no one can cry foul. That really is the best way, Emerson told me. The best way for the council maybe. Emerson, you know I trust you, but you just admitted that 2 cases that were also supposed to be a slam dunk were lost because of this mole. I cannot allow the same thing to happen to my child. I won't allow it to happen to her. Also, speaking as a concerned parent, those 2 cases needed to be reopened and the mole punished for them too. I don't care if they got paid money out of messing up the cases, or did it because she was friends with them, or what. They prevented 2 families from getting the justice that they deserved. That is not right, at all. I cannot imagine how they felt after knowing that they were in the right. I would have lost it, and taken matters into my own hands. It is unacceptable that it even happened in the first place when you are putting your faith in the council, but can still lose despite all the evidence you have. I know what has happened to Raven, well, as much as she will tell me. She knows I would make them pay, and they need to. So please get this done, and quickly, Emerson. You are my friend, and I trust you, but after knowing there is a mole, I cannot have faith in getting a fair trial anymore, I told him, and I am perfectly serious. I won't sit back nicely and allow my daughter's abusers to get away with it. They need to get this squared away, and quickly, and my daughter gets the justice she deserves. I will not allow anything else to happen in this. I see Justin enter the room. I watch as he looks around until he sees Raven, sitting with Brandon as they speak to each other. I am so glad she accepted him so quickly. He is what she needs. Brandon is a good man, and I can tell that he loves her a great deal. I have big hopes for them, and for grand pups for me and Olivia. Justin glares at Brandon for a minute until he looks for me and sees me watching him, and all the emotions on his face. I can see how much he still cares for Raven, but she is done with him, she won't be with him ever again. He crosses over to us to speak. Will it be possible for me to take the prisoners home tonight? I know Reagan messed up, but you have your proof. They will still have to investigate. She won't leave her comfy, spoiled lifestyle. She can't, she isn't tough enough to deal with less than what she is used to. She will stay at Silver Blade, and her father is insisting that she leave Raven alone, from now on. I am assuming that you might be able to agree with that. She will think that she has gotten away from punishment again if you do. Justin cuts right to the chase, and said to us. I like the way he thinks. If he hadn't messed up so badly and broken Raven's heart, I would have been fine with him being her mate. He sees things very well, and he figures out quickly what the best plan of action will be. He is right, I will be allowing them all to leave, tonight. I will be allowing it, young Alpha. I want you to all leave quickly, and that Reagan and her parents do not enter this venue before they leave. That is my only stipulation. I will not allow them to come in here and cause any more issues at Raven's party. They leave the cells, go right to the vehicles, and leave. Will you be able to get that done, Justin? I asked him. I can, and while I am here I was just going to see when Council Member Emerson wanted to question me about Raven's treatment in Silver Blade, Justin said to us. I can make an appointment with you now. I can come to you, or it would probably be best for you to come here. That way you won't be found out or overheard by someone with an agenda. Call me when you know that you have time to meet, and we can set it up. I only need a day's notice to be able to meet with you. I appreciate you being willing to do this. I know some of what she had to deal with. But having documented proof, witness statements, will allow us to move forward faster with it, and if we get enough proof, there will be no need for a trial. We can skip it, and just go straight to the fine, or penalty, for their violation, Emerson said, and then glanced over at me. I don't want them to pay a fine. I have plenty of money. I don't need money. I want them to sincerely apologize to Raven, and mean it. Which I knew those arrogant bastards will not do. Thus allowing me to kill them. If that happens to come after I level a good portion of their pack, so be it. I may not take lives, as I cannot know who did what, unless Raven goes with me there and points out the worst of the offenders, other than her so-called former family. That would be great, but my daughter is too loving for that. She told me that she is fine and that she is dealing with the past through therapy. That just having us willing to pay Silver Blade back for her, is enough. But it isn't for me. I want blood, and at a minimum, Justin can take over the pack early, and he can wait for, pray for, and hopefully receive, his second chance mate to help him lead it, because as far as I am concerned, Graham and Reagan will be with the goddess at that time. They will be the ones to pay for it, as they were the worst of the offenders. Graham allowed his piece of ST pack to do it, and Cassandra bears blame along with it too. He is an alpha, that means something to most of us. We are the protectors and defenders of our packs and are responsible for everyone's health and well-being. He covered everything up that Reagan did. He doesn't deserve to lead a pack anymore. He is the only reason that Raven was in their pack. He decided to keep her and punish her for their actions. His refusal to bring my baby to me will end up costing him his life. I will be telling him that when the time comes. Reagan hurt Raven more than anyone did. She did a great deal of physical and emotional abuse, which should never have happened. She dared to try to kill my baby, and for that, she will die as well. I can let go of a lot of things, but I will never forgive either of them in this. They are a dead man and woman, walking now, they just don't know it yet. I will do that for you, but I have a request for me to do it. I have made up some notes on some of what happened to Raven and can get you plenty more information as well. I just need to be able to speak to Raven alone, for about 20 minutes. I need to tell her why, and her actually listen to me. I just need to tell her how sorry I am, and just get to spend some time with her. Nothing else, I just want a little time with her, to talk about us, Justin said, and I am shocked. How is he still hanging on to Raven? Their bond was broken. Raven has been marked by her second chance mate. I will not agree to this. Justin is trying to blackmail me into this, and I am not going to play along with his little plan of trying to get back with Raven. That ship has sailed. I won't agree with his request, but before I can speak, I heard a familiar voice coming from behind me. Justin, give it up. There is no us, there will never be an us again. You made very sure of that yourself. I already know why you were getting your needs met with my sister. You need to run on along and get with my sister now and get off our land, Raven tells him, and I am so proud of her. He was trying to extort us, and she was shutting him down. I am very proud of her for her decision. Yes, if blackmail was your goal, I am sorry, Justin. I will not be agreeing to it. I thought you were wanting to do this out of the kindness of your own heart. To right the wrongs done to Raven. Clearly, you were just doing it to try to get in good with me and try to con Raven into getting back with you. Neither will be happening now for you now. I don't need your help to get this done. Go get your people from the cells, and get off our land. There will be no reason for you to ever return here again, I told Justin. Chapter 41 Raven's POV. I am so happy about my second chance mate. We have been sitting together at a table, just me and him, getting to know each other. Dad told me how Brandon knew I was his mate over 2 weeks ago, and about how tough it is to be away from your mate for so long. Dad made sure that I knew how tough it was on him, and I appreciated Brandon even more for it. That was amazing and thoughtful of him to wait for me. He tried to give me some time with my family, allowed me to train, and get some counseling. It makes so much sense now why I was so busy. Dad and Olivia knew and were trying to get me as prepared as they could in the 2 weeks they had. I will be forever thankful to them all for it. Brandon had shared his troubling story of thinking he had a mate when she already had one. His heart was broken because she was just trying to trick him to get money from him, to run away with her true mate. That had to have been terrible, and he has trust issues from what she did to him too. It really seems like he understands me, and wants to be there for me. He knows the sting, and the pain of betrayal too. I know that he will take care of me well, as we have been through similar traumatic experiences. Brandon is stroking the back of my hand as he speaks to me, and he doesn't even realize how calming that is for me. He is thoughtful and caring, and I swear the goddess is trying to outdo herself from the original mate she gave me. I will take it. I am looking forward to tonight. I am more than willing to be mated and marked tonight. Brandon teased me by asking when I wanted to leave the party. I knew what he meant. He will be staying with me tonight, in my room, and then helping me pack. Stella's mate Truette will be staying with her as well, and I am so thankful that she was coming to Blackadder with me. We will not be alone though. Brandon's younger brother Crew met his mate tonight at the ball. Our friend and trainer Lainey is his mate, and I have to say that going to Blackadder will be much easier now that I know that I won't be alone. It is weird how the goddess works it out like that for us. Stella and I definitely wanted to stay together, but having Lainey able to go with us is an added gift. Brandon's parents, Jackson and Angie, could not be happier. Angie swears she has never heard of this happening before but is so thankful that all three of her children met their true mates here at my party. She said it was the goddess's blessing to their family. She was amazed at how it had all turned out, especially for Brandon, who had been looking for his mate for so long. I can feel someone looking at me, turning around to see Justin staring at me before he goes to where my dad is. I don't trust him, at all. He has shown me no behavior in his whole life, which suggested that I was able to trust him. He has spent his whole life being adored because of his being the next beta, and because of his looks. But looks aren't everything. His cockiness and attitude are a complete turn-off. It suddenly hit me, he is perfect for Reagan. They were two halves of a whole, and they did indeed deserve each other. I can see that my dad, Justin, Beta Timothy, and the council member were all having a serious discussion, and I see them occasionally glancing over at me and Brandon several times. I couldn't hear what was being said and got up to get closer. Brandon came with me and never let my hand go. I think he was using me to keep himself calm, which was fine with me. He was keeping me calm too. I had spoken with Dad. He said that Justin had warned him about Reagan's plan to drug Brandon. When I found out what she and Cheryl had done, I wanted to go down to the cells and beat out of them. She doesn't train, because she would sweat and ruin her makeup and hair. It wouldn't be a fair fight, but she needs to learn that when you do things like that, you take a chance at getting beaten up, or punished for it. What if she had succeeded? She was so petty, she would even take my second chance mate away from me too. Why would she be like that? She got her man, who was my mate, and I let him go for her. I didn't want him after I saw them in action together anyway. She is the vilest person that I have ever known. I know for a fact that one of these days she will pay for everything she has done. I don't even have to be there to see it. I have complete faith in the goddess. I know that she will get it done. I just hope the goddess knows that she can use me as the vessel to do it if she wants me to. We are behind Justin now, and I feel Brandon's grip tighten on my hand. Him hearing Justin ask for time to talk to me. For him to try to work his magic on what happened, to try to twist it around, try to make it sound better, that will not be happening. My stomach turns at his confidence that what he wants to ask is very little. That wasn't little, and I don't need to hear any more of his crap about it. There was nothing to discuss, and I knew from the look on my dad's face that he was about to shoot Justin down. I just beat him to it. Watching Dad tell him to get out of here, and off his land, made me happy. My dad and Beta Timothy also exited the room with about 8 warriors to make sure that they got out of there, and quickly. I am not going to go outside. I don't need to see Reagan or Cheryl. They were both terrible people and I hoped to never see them again in my life. I didn't want to see the alpha couple either. All 4 of them can go rot together for all I care. If the party weren't for me, I would have already excused myself. I see a few tables have been pushed together and I head over to it, as that is where my friends and family are. Brandon's family is there as well, and the last table had seats available for us. as well as Dad and Timothy when they came back. "Raven, you should take Brandon to go grab a plate, you two have not eaten yet. You both really need to," Olivia tells me, and I blush. I knew what she meant, that we will need to keep our energy up. Olivia had given me the talk yesterday, and it was embarrassing but helpful. She was right, I had not been told by my birth mother, but I knew about it. I liked to read and knew pretty much all there was to know about it. Plus, don't forget the free show that I got from Reagan and Justin. I was wondering what had brought it on, but since she and Dad knew my mate would be here to pick me up, everything was understood now. Including the hugs that have been getting longer and longer at night before bed. They have been trying to get in extra training and memories this whole time, and I teared up because I was not ready to go. I am going to miss them so much. As we eat, I glance around at all the new couples tonight. Everyone is very happy, except Joshua. He seems upset, and I feel bad for him. It is probably hard to see all your friends and sibling getting their mates, and not getting yours. I hear him speaking to Carter, and I suddenly realized that he had, and I feel terrible for him. That girl that was so obsessed with Brandon, was his mate. I try to not eavesdrop, but he is 2 chairs down from me speaking, and my hearing is excellent. She was mad at me and Brandon for marking each other and was making plans to hurt me the second she was free. Joshua was going to give her a chance, but after hearing her threaten me, he changed his mind. He was still upset about it, but he was glad that he had rejected her. She could not be trusted, and that was why Beta Timothy had told him to reject her when he scented her. She was so focused on Brandon and trying to get him back, she never scented Joshua when he escorted Luna Cassandra down. I see Joshua sit up in his chair and scent the air. 3 girls had just come in from outside and were heading to the buffet to get some food. Joshua got up and followed them to the buffet, stopping behind the one with brown hair. Her head snaps up as soon as he steps behind her and she turns around with the biggest grin before saying, "Mate." Joshua is as enamored of her as she is of him and nods quickly to her, repeating, "Mate." Good, I would have been so upset that he missed his chance all because his original mate is a creepy stalker. Carter gets up with a grin and adds another table to the ones that were already together, making room for the 3 girls. Stella has a big smile on her face, as does Amanda. I am quite sure that Beta Timothy will be happy with this new addition as well. She will be much better for Joshua than his original mate was for him. I see Dad coming back in with Beta Timothy and they head straight to grab a plate too. We have all been pretty busy for the first few hours of the party, and no one had really taken the time to grab food until now. Most people are dancing, or in groups talking. I see Beta Timothy grin over at Joshua and nod his head. I can tell that he likes this girl way more than he did Cheryl. We all sit around talking and laughing together as so much has happened tonight. I know the night is ending, and I am suddenly shy. I know that it is almost time for Brandon to make me his, and I want him to. But it is suddenly very real to me. Brandon takes my hand back in his and gives me a squeeze. He knew I was getting upset, I can tell from the way he is looking down at me with his love for me clearly shining in his eyes. I can tell he knows why too. The comfort that he brings me just from a simple touch makes me happy. We are all looking around at each other, waiting to see who is going to excuse themselves and head off to bed. I am nervous, so it won't be me. Lainey was smart and she and crew took off over an hour ago. But it isn't her party either. I feel like I am supposed to stay until the end of the night and see the guests off. I can see Carter is thinking the same thing. Austin just sat there watching us all like he had a bet on who was going to see Kay first. If I had to bet, I was putting my money on Carter. He is clearly ready to go, right now, and just out of respect for his parents, and hers just trying to hold on. I know that Austin feels it too, as he is looking at Carter, and I know that it will just be a matter of minutes before someone excuses themselves, and then there will be a mass exodus from the venue. Brandon clears his throat and says, "I am sorry, I tried to make it to the end of the night. But as you all pretty much know, I have been waiting patiently on my mate for over the last 2 weeks. I need to be with her, even if all we do is sleep. She is very calming to me, and honestly, I haven't been sleeping well with all the crap Cheryl and her family were doing at Blackadder. So please excuse us as we head to the pack house. I know that Raven will have to pack some up tonight, and I will help her get it done." Brandon gets up from his seat and pulls gently on my hand to get me to stand up with him. I can feel the heat on my face from my blush, and I wish I could turn it off, but I can't. Truett and Stella then stand up and make their excuse to head off to bed as well. Followed by Carter and Simone, and then Joshua and his new mate Amy. It seemed like everyone was just waiting for one person to excuse themselves. The grins on the parents' faces let them know that they had been waiting for it, and I see Beta Timothy hand $20 to my dad. I frowned at seeing it and said, "What was that for?" "I told your dad that you newly mated couples were going to make it to about 1030 to 11 p.m., before making your excuses. He said that you all would be out of here before 10 p.m., and it is 0955, I don't know why Brandon couldn't wait a few more minutes to get past Cole's bet, so I could win. But I am glad to lose this one. Brandon has waited long enough to claim his mate. I'm just glad you all received good mates. It is a blessing, and not one to be taken lightly," Beta Timothy replied back. We all exit the venue arm in arm with our mate and head for the pack house. I was not talking, but Stella, Simone, and Amy were all very excited and thrilled with their mates. I was too, but I was feeling a little uncomfortable that my dad knew what I was about to do. He was upset at my leaving. Carter will still be there with him, but I will be leaving in the morning, and I was getting choked up with emotions. This has been the only place that I have wanted to call home, where I was treated with respect and kindness. Everything is about to change for me, and the unknown, especially after what I had to deal with at Silver Blade, is causing me to feel overwhelmed. I can feel the tears coming, and I don't know how to stop them. I feel like instead of giving my dad the last little bit of time that I could be with him, I am just ditching him, to go have some fun with my mate. My throat is burning as I try to hold the tears back. My guilt at leaving is taking over. Brandon stops walking and the rest of the group stops as well, thinking that something is wrong. It is, but it doesn't really affect them. It is my problem, but I can't speak to tell them that they can go ahead on without us. Brandon can tell what the problem is, and said, "Raven is just realizing that tomorrow she is leaving and she is going to miss her new family. She is very upset, and I don't think she wants you all to see her cry. I will stay with her, and get her to her room when she is ready. You can go on ahead of us. I have got her." I nodded my head when Stella, Carter, and Joshua looked at me to see if that was what I was feeling. It was. The pain in my heart was because I was going to be missing my new family, and friends. I know that Brandon's pack was close, but I still feel bad for leaving my dad and Olivia when I just got them. I knew I would see Carter, he and Simone would be coming there quite often. It was Simone's pack, and family. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.